So quality control is a very important aspect of zinc die casting. So today I have with me Jason Madison in our quality control department. So Jason, do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Deco Products?
Sure. So I'm Jason Madison. I'm our quality manager at Deco. I'm actually an engineer by trade, by training. I worked in various engineering departments here at Deco for my first 15 years here, and now for the last 2 years I've been the quality manager, which has kind of been a natural progression for me because I kind of understood everything from what we're designing to how we make what we're designing, and now I'm able to inform, how we ensure that we're making it the way we need to for the customer.
Wonderful, thank you for that. So tell me a little bit about Deco's quality management system that we have in place here.
Sure. So we are an ISO 9001 registered company, which is basically it's an international standard that we meet. So at a minimum, we for sure meet that standard. On top of that, though, we have our internal systems that support that standard. So we have all of our internal inspections, we've got our internal specifications, and since we're primarily making parts for a customer's design, our top priority is to make it to match what our customer wants.
So Jason, can you tell us a little bit about the technologies and the equipments that we utilize here at Deco?
We've got a lab, a quality lab, which has a lot of stationary equipment. That includes an optical comparator, CMM, lots of gauges, literally thousands of gauges. We've got a lot of standard equipment like calipers and micrometers, and since all of our parts are zinc castings where you can actually pick it up and measure it, most of our gauges are things that you can physically put on the part to measure. The CMM is great because it gives extreme accuracy for measuring parts. We use that on a limited basis though because it's a little slow, but the nice thing is we can make a really simple gauge to do something fast and easy, like maybe just put a pin in a hole and make sure it's the right size, or we can do an extreme measurement with the CMM, which is a programmable machine to check basically anything you could think of to check in three-dimensional space. Oh,
okay. So, and then is that one of the tools that you use then to measure like your effectiveness of the quality part or the quality of the part?
We use that to measure conformity to the customer's need. So the customer drawing will specify a feature needs to have this size at this tolerance, and we can ensure whether the parts that we just made that day actually fall within that tolerance.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
And here, this is our CMM coordinate measuring machine. This is the most accurate machine we've got in the building. It can be programmed to measure most anything. And currently, right now, it's going through and taking measurements on a new part that we're trying to qualify for a new customer.
So how do we actually then measure the effectiveness of our processes that we have in place?
Yeah, each part number is established. We establish an individualized inspection plan for each part number. And so some of the most simple parts get a very simple inspection. Some of the more complicated parts get a more complicated inspection. And we have a database that we use to enter in all of the steps that need to be checked throughout the various processes to take a part from liquid zinc into something that's usable in the customer's application. And so the steps from maybe casting, trimming to gating, vibratory, even machining, all of those steps will have a unique inspection to ensure that at each step along the way we're meeting that particular part's need before it goes in the box to go to the customer. So Deco has over 4,000 active part numbers that we could be running any given day, and our inspection plans dictate what gauges and equipment we need in order to measure. And so all of these cabinets have gauges in them that are labeled by the cabinet, the shelf, and the bin that each gauge is in order to keep track of the over 2,000 gauges that we've got in all of these cupboards for the parts that we're running each day.
So how does the quality control process at Deco Products integrate with all the other departments that we have here?
In a lot of ways, actually. So it really starts at the very beginning when we have a customer with a new part that they want to have made. Our engineering team will work with the customer to quote out the part and figure out the right tooling and equipment and processes necessary to make the part. But as a part of that, they're consulting with the quality team as well to say, well, what the customer is asking for, is that something that we can do? And if we can do it, can we measure it in a way that we can ensure that we've done it? So at the beginning, that's where that starts. And that's where we begin that individualized inspection plan that I was talking about earlier, where we set up the inspections as needed for that part through all its processes. But then when we actually go to production, what we'll do is, let's say it's an ordinary day and we're going to start making parts today. Our production teams will set up the equipment and they'll start making those first castings. They'll submit those setup samples to our quality inspectors. The inspectors will then go through a special inspection that's a startup inspection, and they'll check extra things that we normally don't check during the run, but they want to make sure that the first part that day is right according to the plan. Then we've got roving inspectors running 24 hours a day all week that are just going from machine to machine, process to process, and they're comparing to a subset of the same things that were checked at startup. So we integrate in that way with the production teams by accepting what they're saying, hey, these are the first parts, are they good? And then throughout, while they're running, we're checking them. And then we do a final. So at the very end of a casting order, we'll bring, almost just like the beginning, we'll bring it in and we'll do that thorough check one more time just to make sure that nothing changed from beginning to end, and that we're still producing parts the same way we thought we were at the start.
And that really does make sure that our clients are receiving that quality product.
That's the plan.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with us. And I hope that you found this beneficial, and feel free to leave us any comments down below if you have questions that Jason can answer for you.